Have you guys ever seen Twin Peaks Season 3? There's a character by the name of Ike the Spike. He's an assassin. He's bald, he's muscular, he wears tank tops, and he's about waist high. And he runs around office buildings, stabbing people with an ice pick. When it comes to medical misinformation, Joe Rogan reminds me of Ike the Spike. Except, instead of an ice pick, he's just stupid. And he doesn't like people with ADHD. In fact, he denies our very existence. He often does this to groups that he's not a part of. He either marginalizes them, looks down on them, or just simply denies their very existence.
ADHD was the one that was created by the advertising agency.
What a surprise. No way.
There's been several conditions that were literally invented by advertising agencies in order to promote a cure.
That's right. When I was a young lad, advertising agencies snuck into my house and sucked all the serotonin out of my brain in order to trick me into drinking lots of Red Bull. Which advertising agencies? All of them. I don't know how an advertising agency would invent symptoms, but, I don't even know what that means, but I do know this. The term ADHD was created by the American Psychological Association. It was previously called hyperkinetic syndrome in Germany in the 1930s. In the 1940s, they began treating ADHD with stimulants. That would be 40 years before they even came up with the name ADHD. Joe could just look that up, but here's the thing. Most of us hear some crazy shit like what he just said, and we think to ourselves, that's crazy. So it's probably not true. I'll go look it up. But Joe hears something like that, and he goes, that sounds crazy. It's probably true because it's convenient for my narrative that I'm trying to sell my fans.
So it's attention deficit hyperactivity
disorder. Yeah. Look, I don't know how much of that is a real disease.
None of it's a real disease. It's a cognitive disorder. It's recognized by the federal government as a protected disability because you can actually see it in a CAT scan.
Maybe some of it is. Maybe, I'm obviously not an expert, maybe some of it is a kid whose brain works different, right?
No, not maybe. Definitely it is a kid and an adult whose brain works different. And I think that that's the thing that really sticks in Joe's craw. He knows people who have ADHD in the comedy community, and he probably finds them annoying and rude, chalks that up to their character rather than his intolerance or inability to adapt. And the thing that really bothers him is that all of those people are funnier than he is, because all of those people are hyper creative. Because people with ADHD have what's called divergent thinking. We bounce from one idea or thought to the next. So we become accustomed to finding connections between random ideas. And that's oftentimes where good writing comes from. A good example of this would be Bill Burr, who has ADHD. I heard a bit, something to the effect of how to know when a white guy's going to say the N-word. And he describes a racist using a hard R, pronouncing a hard R, to a gymnast landing a perfect dismount. That's divergent thinking. Joe is used to convergent thinking, and then that means in Joe's case, comedy is when you dry hump a stool and bark at the audience.
Let me tell you something, man. My dog might have ADHD or whatever the fuck it is. I go to see him and he goes crazy.
Yeah, that's right. I love being compared to a dog by a guy who dry humps stools on stage while barking at the audience. That's why I don't like Joe Rogan. All due respect to Dr. Ruth, but I don't take medical tips from short people. That's a joke. The truth is, the real reason I hate Joe Rogan is because he fucked my wife years ago. He was there. He was at our house when I came home early from work one day. I didn't see him at first because he was hiding inside of my wife's vagina. And she must have forgot that he was there because we started making out on the couch. You know, one thing led to another, and we start to fuck on the couch. And normally, vaginas don't make me come, but she started saying all kinds of weird, creepy shit into my ear. And then all of a sudden, I blew my load. And I guess some of my sperm must have landed on Joe Rogan's eyes because I heard a yelp coming from inside of her belly. So I got off of her, and out running, scurrying, was Joe Rogan. Came scurrying out of her vagina, ran across the living room blind, hit a wall, and knocked himself out. Now, at first, I thought my wife's pussy had coughed up an action figure because of the ninja outfit that Joe was wearing. But then all of a sudden he started coughing up my cum. And I looked over at my wife, and she looked at me, and she held up her hands and said, "Yay, it's a boy." That's why I hate Joe Rogan. And furthermore, I want those child support payments back because that was not my baby. That was Joe Rogan in a ninja costume, hiding inside of my wife's vagina.